Episode 41, Omazeo and Grand Zeo battle, and Omazeo breaks no sweats. The fight only ceases due to Waz intervening and Sogo being sent back to 2019. Once he gets back, everything's changed. Hiryu's back and in charge as this timeline's Demon King, another Zeo 2. You know what I don't get? The first time Hiryu shows up, he was another Zeo facing Zeo 2. But now, he's another Zeo 2 facing Grand Zeo. Wouldn't it make more sense for him to match Sogo where he is and not where he's been? Just saying. Anywho, Hiryu is the Omazeo in charge, and everything for Sogo is back to Phase 1. Except this time, no one remembers him, and he's all alone. I have a question. In this timeline, Hiryu is a bigger threat than Sogo. So why does anyone bother wasting time with him? You can be afraid of his power, but to us, the audience, Sogo's been there for not even a day, and Hiryu's been there for a lot longer. So it's like, before now, what was everyone even fighting and opposing against? And so, once Sogo manages to convince someone, Tsukiyomi is targeted and captured by Hiryu. So now, episode 43, Schwartz turns on his comrades, revealing his true intentions. He and Tsukiyomi originally came from a different timeline and were royalty. By the time came for a new heir, Tsukiyomi was picked over Schwartz, so Schwartz, enraged, erased her memories and sent her to a different timeline. But now he came back for his sister to steal her powers and make himself king. And I have been waiting to say this for such a long time. And that is, if that's the case, then why did he bother making comrades and sending monsters to screw around time for 43 episodes now? Like, no, seriously, if he didn't need help to make himself king, or hell, maybe he did to find his sister. But afterwards, he takes Tsukasa's powers to become another decade. Matter of fact, why didn't he just do that earlier? And on top of everything, he is the reason Sogo's parents are dead and why Sogo wants to be king. By that proxy, he's the cause of Omazeo. If he wants to be king, why did he bother finding anyone that could oppose him? That's not even the most atrocious thing about this reveal. The most atrocious detail is that the concept of time travel could not matter at all. If you were to replace time travel with dimension hopping, it would make a lot more sense. Like, anytime anyone talks about time traveling in this show, it makes less sense as time goes on. Pun intended. It's not deep. It's the writer suggesting cop-outs. Like, I am fully aware that I jumped right the hell ahead, but it was important for the story. The rest of the show is just, it gets crazy, like throwing in one thing after the other to make sense out of nothing. Like, okay, so Schwartz becomes another decade, and his ultimate goal is to steal Grand Zeo's powers for himself. Well then, why did he instigate everyone and everything to begin with? Sogo was apparently a scapegoat to get all the writers' powers so that after they've all been gathered. Lazy much? Hello. This is being recorded a week after my review, and I'm adding it in the middle here because I realized somewhere in the middle of my ranting, I forgot to mention what happens to Hiryu. Sogo beats him, fuck him, move on. Basically, that, like, he's I don't care about him because he's an asshole. Like, I'm being so honest. At first, you feel bad for him, but the fact that he comes back, it's like, that tells you that that character is just an asshole for the sake of being an asshole. And, like, you think even after he's beaten the second time, I honestly wanted Schwartz to tell him that he was the one who murdered his parents. But instead, our very last memory of him is him beaten on the ground, honestly better off crying like a bitch. And you don't care because he's just an asshole. Well, that was at least worth mentioning because it goes along with my feelings towards the show, which we'll get back to right now. The next 3 episodes don't even matter. It's just everyone fucking around. It's like, and this is ultimately where this show hits a wall for me. Like, once we hit the final arc, this episode, like every episode, finds some new way to piss me off. And it just annoys the hell out of me so damn much. Like, hell, KamenRider Aqua from the O's Forze movie, he shows up for 3 episodes, then he dies. Oh yeah, we still have villains here. Aura kills Wool, and Schwartz kills Aura. Who cares? Like, oh yeah, all the villains from all the past Heisei seasons are coming back and bring the end of the world. I don't give a fuck. That's what's the most disappointing. This show made me not give a fuck. Episode 48. KamenRider Tsukiyomi. Way to introduce a new writer just literally right before the final episode. An episode away. Her suit at least doesn't suck. It's nice. Like, her suit at least doesn't suck. And she gets sweet powers. And so, episode 49, our final episode. Let's get it over with. Tsukiyomi turns on the others and pledges her loyalty to Schwartz. And so, the very next day... Actually, I shouldn't say one more thing about the final episode. Like, after that, Tsukasa says something about maybe the world should be destroyed. Like, that part, that annoyed me. And I actually posted online, venting this out. For as much as Tsukasa talks about being the destroyer of worlds, I don't think he could actually do it. Like, yeah, people say that reasons that the... But no, to me, no. I don't think he can actually do it. I think he's all talk. When has Tsukasa ever destroyed a planet? So I don't think he can do it. I think it's a bluff. I don't... So much like annoyance. So much annoyance right now. Anywho, the next day, everyone battles. Gates takes a shot that was meant for Sogo, and it kills him. And with his dying breath, he calls Sogo by his real name and tells him to become the Demon King. And as he passes on, Sogo acquiesces. And he proceeds to wreck shit. Once he gets to Schwartz, Tsukiyomi stabs him in the back, revealing her double cross, and he kills her. After it all, Omazeo kills Schwartz, saving time and the world. So goes king. So now what? Well, the power of Omazeo is to destroy and recreate. So Sogo decides to give up his kinghood and create a new timeline where Gates and Tsukuyomi are still alive and everything's back to normal. Interestingly, Sogo rewinded time back to where he'd be in high school, and Gates and Tsukuyomi are his classmates, and Wool and Aura are a grade below them. Okay then. And that was KamenRider ZO. I have such a completely different opinion about this show now, and it's not good. Matter of fact, that's my opinion. This show is not good, and it toes the line at being terrible. I was so lukewarm by the end of this, and even before then, I started being lukewarm. And I even posted about this on Facebook too. Like, the concept of king is nice, but this show made it dumb. Like, it took a good idea and made it dumb. Almost everything in the show was dumb by the end. Like, and you want to know why I have to blame? What's the biggest thing that annoys the shit out of me with the show, which I'm going to talk about now going into the character analysis, are the villains. The Time Jackers. Remember from my KamenRider Saber review when I said that the Megiddo were the worst villains ever? Well, I take that back. They come in second place. The Time Jackers are the worst. As villains, they aren't really a threat to anyone. Like, they don't, like, as soon as just they're weak villains. When all of them act, it's just bad. Like, you're trying to sound subdued intentionally, and it's not good. Like, altogether, these villains are terrible. I didn't find any of them interesting. I found all of them irritating, and I felt nothing for any of them. There are so many times in this show where they contradict themselves. Like, we're going to get rid of Omazeo and replace him with a new king. We don't like this new king. What the hell? Then why would they just... shows the worst. And by the end, I'm just so annoyed with everything. And the central point of that annoyance are the villains. Like, the villains are what brought this show down by a lot. But as for the protagonists, let's start with Sogo. Sogo is not terrible. Like, it's weird. Like, with Sogo, I feel like he's at his best when he's not in his own show. Like, if anyone else is at the forefront and Sogo is there, he's much better as, like, a secondary character. Like, almost as if he should have been the secondary writer. But with Sogo alone, I don't hate him. I don't dislike him. Like, he's fine for the most part. He's not too annoying. He's not too stupid. Like, he knows what he's doing for the most part. Like, that's all I can really say for Sogo. Like, he's not the worst. So next, Gates. Gates, I really started off with a negative opinion about Gates, and honest to God, throughout the show, I've watched him develop. He definitely is a different person by the end. Like, by the end of the show, he is a completely different person from where he started off as. But Gates, I don't hate him by the end, I think. Like, I think once he stopped flip-flopping, he came off as somewhere average at best, really. So next, Tsukiyomi. No, just no. Became a writer so late, just no. She became a writer so late as she didn't get her first Focus episode until literally the 30s. So, like, just for a majority of the show, she's girl, and she doesn't go anywhere except for girl. Oh wait, she's related to the villains. Okay. So was Misora last season. Moving on. Was arguably the best character from this show. I know I possibly like White Waz a bit more, but Waz is still entertaining with all of the UI, Zandarandara, KamenRider Zio, or whatever else that he does. He's always making announcements for something spectacular and important, and his character is never... He eventually stops being a bastard. That's all I can say. Like, he eventually stops being a bastard. I think without a doubt, my favorite character from this show was White Waz, because he's a bastard and he knows it and he doesn't hide it. Regular Waz, on the other hand, a bastard, but he goes from back and forth. And so, before completely finishing up my thoughts on this show, I'm now going to read everyone's comments on what they feel about Zio. I heard about them beforehand. Like, some people like this show, some people don't like the show. So just, we already know what we're getting into. So let's go. And by the way, I'm reading these off of Facebook. So, Roadie Fate. I've seen it and owned it. My first Kamen Rider series that I owned. Alright. And, oh shoot, longtime viewer, Ray Hayes. This is yours, man. I like Zio, still do, and I don't really have an issue with things. Gates got on my nerves, and he was my least favorite secondary writer until his V Cinema and Revice happened. That is actually true. Gates' V Cinema was actually very good. The only thing I will not forgive is killing off Kamen Rider Aqua for worthless shock value. And I'll keep saying this. That's like killing off Smoke. Just give character motivation to Sub-Zero on Mortal Kombat. Don't do that. Okay, man, I'll take your word for it. Alright. Aizen Uogol. Perfect legend writer, better than Decade. Sorry, but it's true. Decade shines in Zio than his own series, but when it comes to the power, Zio wins hands down. True. All that pretty true. Oh crap, and he has a picture of so many ride watches. Oh my god, that's just so... Okay, alright. So next, Kyle Jackson. I absolutely love this show. It was what got me into collecting Toku merchandise, and boy does my bank account hate that. I'm sparingly with my Toku merch, man. Like, y'all didn't see the stuff for when I was shopping for Revice, and same for Geets. I just ordered my desired driver, and I'm only getting the rise buckles that I like. Like, any others that I don't like, I'm not bothering with. But, ha ha ha. Respect that, man. Respect. So, last comment. Yarmunos, one word, was UI. And so, my thoughts on KamenRider ZO. Overall, this show, it's divisive. It's definitely divisive. There are parts in here that I like, but there are also parts in here that I really hate. So it's really on that thin line of being in the middle. At the end, I think this show was divisive, and and found myself too annoyed with so many issues within the show, whether it's the writing, to the villains, to the story of the week. Something got to me, and it would bog the show down for me. So, my rewatching of ZO from start to finish, it went downhill towards the end, and so did this show. And so, that was ZO. Now, before fully ending the video, I have an announcement to make, and it's about going into next year. I'm just going to give an idea of what going into next year is going to look like. So, we're in December right now, and my next review is going to be KamenRider Revice. Now, I've talked about this on social media, and just putting this out there on video that yes, in 2023 I'm going to be doing a KamenRider Revice month. I'm going to dedicate the whole month of February to all things KamenRider Revice. I'm not going to do anything January because I'm going to take a month off from YouTube, just from recording, uploading, just taking a month off. And that might start somewhere in December because Christmas is right around the corner, so we'll see where we get to it. But yeah, going into 2023, like after this whole holiday break coming up, I'm going to take a month off from YouTube. We're going to come back in February with Revice Month. And 2023, we're just going to hope to have some fun. Because I do have some theme months in line, like a Q Ranger month, and I know Hurricaneger 20 Years After is coming out this year, so hopefully if it comes out before 2023 ends, I might do a Hurricaneger month. We'll see what we'll get. But for right now, look forward to 2023 with Revice Month. That will be in February. And so, with that said, thank you guys for watching. Please do not forget to like, subscribe, share this video, tell your friends about KamenRider Blackman. Now, I gotta go get a drink of water and do my laundry. So see you guys next time. Peace.